This is your hip opener series on the floor. You can start by lying face down. Extend your chin forward. Using the same side arm as leg, you're going to bend your leg and try to grab your ankle. Now, if you're unable to grab it, you can always use a resistance strap or a resistance band in order to extend the distance between your hand and your foot, so you can just loop it around there. But whatever it takes, you want to have your heel as close to your butt as possible. Lightly squeeze your glutes to make sure you're stretching the front of the thigh the most. Now we can switch sides. So if you can only grab your toes, that's fine. But if you can't even grab your toes, then I would definitely suggest using that extender for your grip. And as you get more flexible, you can always work your hand back down toward that ankle joint eventually. The other arm is free, and make sure that you have your chin forward during the stretch to help stretch out your neck as well. All right, so next one is going to be a pretzel. So you're gonna sit up and you can bend the left leg in front. You can put the right leg over. Now for some people this might be plenty, but for others they'll want a little bit deeper. So if you can, you wanna pull your leg in closer to your body and give your leg a hug. But if you're way out here, don't worry about it, that's totally fine. You do, however, wanna have both of your sits bones on the floor, so avoid tipping to the side. Do your best with that one, but you're just trying to hold that in there for about 30 seconds, as close as you can have it is totally fine. And if you need help sitting up straight, you can always sit with your back against the wall in order to help with the straighter position. Let's switch legs. So starting out with the heel near the knee, and if that's feeling good, you can pull in a bit with that leg. So the ultimate endpoint of this one for people who have this range of motion is going to be to get your knee towards your shoulder, but obviously everybody's different and these things take time to improve upon. Make sure that you're taking nice deep breaths while you're holding the stretch as well. All right, so next we'll move into butterfly. For this one, you can have the soles of your feet close together. You're pulling your feet in fairly close to your pelvis, and then you want to pull your body up nice and straight. From here, we're going to push down with the thighs a bit with the elbows as we sit up straight and tall. So imagine one long line going from your sits bones all the way up through your head. So as you're pressing those elbows down, you're actually stretching up a little bit with your torso, and you can hold that position again for about 30 seconds. Next, we're going to move into a twist on our back. So you can lay on your back. We're going to extend the left leg and pull the right leg across the body. The right arm is going to be extended out to the side. You can turn your head and look that way. For this, you can allow your right hip to lift off of the floor, but definitely keep that left hip firmly on the floor. So I'm trying to target our glutes here. If you pull too far and both hips start lifting off the floor, you're going to get more lower back, which is not what my focus is for this series. You also want to do your best to keep both shoulders on the floor during this stretch. And you can switch. So now we're extending right leg, left leg pulls across the body, turning your head and looking towards the left. And if you have a really tight lower back, you might feel this mostly in your lower back, which is fine, but make sure that you're feeling it in your glutes because that is my primary focus for this one, to get the piriformis muscle. All right, so next we can do hamstrings. You can leave your left leg bent, and I'd like you to put your right leg up into the air. You can reach right around your lower thigh, just near your knee. And I prefer a bent leg stretch for this, not locking the leg out. So what we're doing is just keeping the leg soft, and then you're pulling that hamstring toward your face. For most people, it's not gonna come close to your face, but that's the direction that we're headed. And you can just leave your foot relaxed. your best to keep your neck as flat on the floor as you can. Sometimes as the legs are tight, the head will try to lift up to compensate, but we want to make sure that the upper body stays relaxed on the floor. And again, on this one, if you need a strap, you feel free to use it if you can't quite reach your leg. And then if this is too easy, what you can do is extend your left leg straight so that both legs are, well, the left leg will be totally straight and the right leg will just be slightly bent. That will intensify the stretch just a bit. You can switch sides. So right foot is flat, legs bent, the left leg is bent as well for the traditional version. And then if we want to extend that more, we could always drop the right leg flat. The foot is relaxed. Both shoulders are staying as close to the floor as you can. Next, we'll do a seated piriformis. So we'll stay on the floor for this one. I'd like you to cross your left ankle over your right knee, and then you're just holding your body up with straight arms. So again, if you want to make this harder, you can walk, and I'm already pretty much at my limit here, but you can walk your hands in closer to your hips, or to make it easier, you would walk them further back. So whatever you need to do to feel that nice stretch in your left hip is fine. We also want to be mindful of the left knee here. So you want to use your own hips to lightly push that knee away from your body, because your arms are tied up right now, so we need to use our own muscle to do this. And especially if your knee is closer to your body than the other knee, so if left knee is closer to your shoulders than right, you'd want to make sure that you're working to press that knee away as best as you can. Go ahead and switch. So I like to think about closing the gap between my chest and my shin. And of course, this is going to be slow and it's not going to be overnight. But that is the direction that we're headed, and it's good to have a vision of what the stretch is at its end range. So you're just focusing on keeping your back straight, because the reason I said to you chest to shin is sometimes people start slouching like this. My chest actually just moved away from my shin, so that's the opposite direction we want to be going in here. So you can perk up a bit and just lift through your pelvis all the way up through your head so that your back is extended. Great, so next we'll do one-legged butterfly. So you're going to have your left leg bent, your right leg is straight. Now, for some people, just sitting like this is a good stretch, which is fine. So if that's you, you just stay. If you need more, you're going to walk your hands forward a bit. You're going to let your head hang down. So the goal here is to get the whole spine to be rounding a bit forward. Some super flexy people are going to have their nose all the way near their knee. Other people will be more up like this. So you just need to find where your body needs for today. And don't be surprised if your body's a little bit tighter nowadays with our stress and our change of schedule. So just meet your body where it's at and do something good for yourself with your workout. We can switch sides. So you're sitting up straight to start. If you can round forward and put your head near your knee, go ahead and do that. But wherever you are, we'll hold this for 30. You can just let your right leg be as it is. You don't have to do anything in particular with it. Once it's set up in that one-legged butterfly, you're good. And there's different philosophies regarding the foot being flexed or pointed, the leg being locked or not locked. For general purposes, I suggest a relaxed foot and leg, because that way you're not overly tensing the system. But if you have a particular need to stretch with your foot flexed up, that's going to stretch more your sciatic nerve. That will get more of your calf. So you can play around with it, but for just general flexibility, I suggest just keeping that lower body relaxed so that your muscles can get more relaxation effect from this. All right, so the final one that we'll be doing is reclined butterfly, one of my very favorite ones, because you don't really have to do anything. It's pretty good. So you're gonna lie on your back, soles of the feet close together, arms are extended out to the sides. Now here you're just letting gravity do the work. But there is a little bit of way you can help with that. So I'm gonna ask you to lightly tense your thighs, almost like you're starting to close them up, but you're not gonna move them very much. Now relax. And tense them again. And relax. And tense. And relax. You can stay relaxed now. Some people will find that they get a hip adjustment when they hold this pose. It usually happens when you're more relaxed than not, so try not to be startled by it. I've never had somebody feel that it was painful, but it can be a little bit startling. But it's basically a free chiropractic type adjustment. I mean, obviously with your own body and without the force of that person or the cost involved. But my point is that it's good for you, and your body should self-adjust here and there if it needs it. And if it doesn't need it, it won't happen. So don't worry about it either way. But sometimes I do get that, and it's actually a good thing. So you're just trying to really let gravity do the work for you here. This one we hold for about 60 seconds, a little bit longer than the other ones. All right, so that worked your hips from a ton of different angles, and that is your lower body hip opening series.